Hello out there in YouTube land. It has been quite a while since I put up one of my custom projects, and I kind of said that from that point on I was going to try to do about a review a month, but I really have been getting into one thing after another, and I really haven't had an opportunity to do a whole lot of customizing. I've probably been doing more buying and selling than anything else. So I just want to do this real quick, not a review, but show off of another one of my custom projects. This project here didn't involve any kind of painting at all. It just really involved upgrading a slide, upgrading a rear sight, and upgrading some grips. So what we have here, we basically start off with the WeTech Model C 1911, and the thing that stands out about the gun is the square trigger guard right here, which is a really nice feature because it has a trigger guard that keeps you from slipping your hands or your finger down below the guard itself. Not that you really have the tendency to do that, but I think that's pretty nice how that works out. And it's got a little bit of checkering right here where you put your finger too, so that's even more grip for you to have. The original model comes with a ported slide, but it only has two ports right up in the front on the opposite side of the sight. And it has a rear sight that is a Bomar type of sight, but not with the little glow dots that you see there. That's a really nice little upgrade. So basically I got into the V12 ported gun last year when I saw the face-off model pistol from a movie that I've never seen, which is Face Off, where Nicolas Cage has two of these bad little beauties. And ever since I saw one of those, I wanted to get my hands on something like it, but there's just nothing available, or there's very little available where it used to be. And obviously this one's not gold. I'm not trying to copy the face-off gun with this particular project. That's something I'm doing with another project, but for this particular project, I pretty much just bought a V12 slide from Shooter's Design. Now I had to get this overseas because a lot of upgrade parts, you just don't find them here stateside, and a lot of the places that used to have them stateside aren't really doing it anymore. They don't seem to last a very long time. If you want to get into customizing your 1911 pistols, you're really going to have to go deal with places like eHobby Asia, WGC Shop, and UN Company, Den Trinity, places like that. And I've dealt with almost all of them that I just mentioned. And to my pleasant experience, they have been very good to deal with. I have had very little of any problems, and the few problems that I had were like non-issues. But if it were an issue for me, I might have had to return something, but it wasn't an issue for me. So I've had a very good experience dealing with them. But I basically was browsing through the internets one day, and I just typed in V12 slide because I had been looking for months to get my hands on the Western Arms face-off gun, but I couldn't find anything. So I found that you could buy some upgrade slides, and I bought one. I also bought a adjustable Bomar style sight for the rear, and I also bought a really nice pair of Pachmayr wood grips with the little rubber wraparound insert, and that's really all I did to this pistol. I really didn't do anything else. One of the really nice features about this gun is how tight this slide mates to the frame. You can hear a little bit of something internally shaking inside the gun, but there's no noise being made from the contact between the slide and the frame. This is about the tightest fit I have ever seen on an airsoft pistol. It's really like a real 1911 as far as how tight it fits. And in order for this to fit to the VTech frame, I had to make some modifications to the internals, which is probably something I should not have done, but I pretty much ground away where I thought it needed it. So I'm going to have to disassemble this whole thing to really show you. But that's alright, you got time, unless you just really short on your attention span. But I did a little bit of polishing right here. Well, I lie. I sanded it a little bit too with my Dremel to make the transition for the barrel a little bit smoother. And even with all that, it still fit very, very tight. And there was somewhat of a break-in period on this in order for this thing to work perfectly. But it works perfectly, I tell you. For a moment, it wasn't returning back to its original position, but now it does. And I swear that is like the tightest fit. I probably got some, maybe one real gun that fits that tightly. And even there, you saw where it didn't fully return, it kind of stuck. But I think I've got a little bit of gas left in this and no BB, so I will, actually no, I don't have any gas, it's empty. I probably should have done a safety check for your comfort at the beginning of this, but basically this slides back pretty nicely. It returns pretty nicely. It's tight as I don't know what. So it doesn't always work out that way. I've had some VTechs where there's a little bit of wobble, but some of them, depending on how they manufactured it that particular day, some of them are a little bit thicker than others. And like I said, the fit is just tight. Now, when you rack it back, you know, that might be the only hint of any kind of wobble, and even then, it's not that much. But this is a pretty nice little project. I plan to add an Angel Custom type bore barrel to it, 113 millimeters. That really seems to make a difference in the long range accuracy. Pistols are typically good for about 30 to 40 feet. You know, if you're shooting a real pistol, you're not really trying to shoot somebody at 100 feet. Or maybe you are, but you know, it wouldn't be my purpose for it. But I like to have my airsoft pistols to be able to shoot what I call the 100-foot test. If I can hit a target reliably at 100 foot, even more so if I can hit it on elevation at 100 foot, then that's a really good gun for me. And my experience has been that the Angel Custom, or basically any type bore barrel that you buy for these airsoft pistols, really improves the accuracy. I'm not going to tell you that it's a nail driver, but I've installed it in other VTech guns, and they work just fine, just fine. So this is just a little bit of show and tell of a project that you can do without even doing any paint work. And as far as the color match, this slide is kind of a grimy black, where this is definitely a kind of like a jet black. But the grips really match with the slide as far as the color is concerned. As far as the parting, I didn't really say anything about the porting. I basically bought a bull barrel that goes in your typical VTech, and without the aid of a drill press, I tried drilling some portholes in here. The portholes are not perfectly aligned. So this is something that I might do again with another bull barrel. I might even go for smaller portholes, because I think the real gun has smaller portholes. But I'd like to try to do this over again so I can get a little bit better alignment with that. If you're not really paying too much attention to it, you might not notice it too much, but some of those are definitely out of alignment. Particularly this one here grabs my attention, And on this side, the gap in between these two really grabs my attention, and the fact that these last two are kind of out of alignment with where these are going. So I didn't have the best tools to work with, but now I've got a drill press. So now that I've got the drill press and some anchors, I'm going to try to see if I can't put together a better pattern instead of going out and buying like a garter or some other brand that already drills these ports in here, but costs like $40 to get. And in order to get that, you're going to have to get the piece that goes in here. Now, the advantage to that is that you have the warnings for the porting exhaust ports that are typically written on these types of guns. So that's the one advantage you have with that. And I'm only willing to spend so much for realism. I like realism, but I'm only willing to go so far. So this was a pretty nice little pistol, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this review here. Oh, the adjustable sights are really nice. I'm gonna need to pretty much drill out a hole and cut a slot so I can put a similar sight, a glow sight, in the front. So this is more for target practice than it is for any kind of gaming or anything, which I really don't do anyway. But this is pretty much that's pretty much the extent of what I plan to do to this gun. As far as anything I do past this video is going to be upgrading the inner barrel and putting in a front sight, and that's pretty much just a matter of using a drill in the front and using a Dremel on the top and inserting another glow stick. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this, and hope it gives you ideas for a custom project that you can do. Better put that safety on. Have a good one.